Welcome to eAssist Growing Your Dental Business podcast. Tune in as the experts in dental business share tips and tools to grow your practice. To learn more, visit dentalbilling.com. Please welcome our next guest.
Hey, everybody, get ready for an exciting Growing Your Dental Business episode. I'm thrilled to welcome Dayna Johnson. She is a true powerhouse in dental practice management and innovation. She has been in the dental industry for 30 years. She has transformed the industry through her strategic leadership and visionary approach. And she's very creative. I have watched her present multiple times at dental events, and she does just super fun things, hands-on things. So if you ever get the chance to hear her, I would love for you to hear her speak. She is the founder of Novonee and the host of the High Performing Dental Team podcast. She's been instrumental in driving operational success and patient care excellence. Her passion lies in empowering dental teams to unlock their full potential. She turns everyday challenges into opportunities for growth, and I love that about her. She has been recognized as one of the top 25 women in dentistry by Dental Products Report, and she has made her mark on several platforms like the Thriving Dentist Show, and she has contributed to leading dental publications. So she is amazing. Thank you for being here as we explore Dayna's journey, her insights on thriving in the dental world. And I'm going to let her welcome Dayna, first of all.
Oh, thank you for the introduction. Wow.
I love to just tell people about people in our network because I love all of you so much. I love you so much. You and I have known each other for quite a while.
I
And
know.
we've spent some good time together and some really fun. We had your birthday down in Arizona. We went to the aquarium and
I know. That was so
Chicago.
fun.
We've done so many fun things together,
I
and
know.
your cute hubby, Kevin. And so
I
it's
know.
just been a fun time getting to know you. So I'm so happy to have you on the podcast.
I love it when we can be colleagues and, have these great business meetings and then we can do fun things afterwards, and like get together and have pizza parties and things like that. So
I love it too. In fact,
I
I
know.
probably say the word love too much on my podcast, I've decided, because I say love a million times. So I might have to edit that out. We'll see how many times I say it today.
Well,
But
I don't think so. I think that we are an industry where we build relationships and, we grow these relationships not only in our business life, but also in our personal life. And I think it's a great thing.
I think so too. I think so too. So I would love to hear your story about how you got into dentistry. I know you kind of started out in software, but I'd love
Mhm.
to hear more about that. And then we're going to kind of go into some of the challenges that you help dentists and their teams solve. So let's start with your story.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of fell into dentistry, just like you said. I started out in software, but before that, like if we rewind a couple more years before that, I was actually in college. I wanted to be this high powered marketing executive in the business world. I was going to business classes in college and I was doing a paid internship at a local bank up in the state of Washington. And about 6 months into my internship, the bank filed bankruptcy. And I was all of a sudden out of a job. And at that time, I was already married. I had already bought a house. So I had a mortgage to pay and bills to pay. And I'm, oh my gosh, something had to give. And college had to go. And I dropped out of college and I went to work for my uncle Dave, who had a computer software company, and he was installing computers into medical and dental offices.
Okay.
And so I went to work for him doing software support. And, I would crawl around on the floor with screwdrivers, installing computers, and I would build computers from scratch. And
Wow.
I know that was kind of my start into dentistry because we were doing that for dental practices. And then I went to work for my first dental practice in 1992, the year my daughter was born, 92. So I can always remember that
Always
year.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I've been in dentistry ever since and never looked back.
Oh, that's awesome. I actually
Yeah.
had a son in 92, so we have kids that are the same age.
We do. Yes, we do. And yeah, so it's been a great, amazing journey and it's not over. I love the dental industry. I'm here to stay for the rest of my life. It just keeps evolving and we keep growing and I love helping dental teams. It's my life's passion. I love it. I say love. See, I say love a lot too.
I do too. I guess we'll have to throw that in the title or something about love.
Yeah.
No, I do too. I just think we become so passionate about so many things, and I don't say I love something unless I really do love something.
Mhm.
So obviously we are passionate about things. So what would you consider your biggest challenge that you helped dentists and their team solve?
Yeah, probably my number one is helping doctors and dental teams optimize their systems and software. And when I think of the patient journey, and from the time the patient lands on the website to the time they book an appointment, they get their forms, they get their reminders, they get into the office. Everything we do in the dental practice revolves around the software. And so I love software since I started out in tech. I love solving problems. I love putting the pieces together. And it's just so fulfilling when I can help a dental team to create that more efficient workflow. And when they see how much automation can save them time and save them stress and save the practice money. And it's just so fulfilling when I see all those pieces come together. It's just it's fun, it's challenging. And the ultimate outcome is to have an amazing patient experience and the team to feel less stress, less overworked, have more fun, and just be more productive. That's what we're all looking for.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you think some of the most common challenges are when integrating a new software? You know Dentrix
I do.
inside and out. And
Yeah.
so I would assume that you mostly work with Dentrix teams. Are there other teams you work with as well? Or
I not yet, but I am looking to do that in the future.
yeah.
Right now, I primarily work with Dentrix offices because I know, like you said, I know it inside and out, and I feel like I can be a really good advocate for them for their software. And I think the biggest challenge that I come up against is that open mindedness for implementing new things. I've been in dentistry for 30 years. I know what it feels like to have some other more hands in your appointment book. And so, I know that office managers, they want to be protective of their appointment book, but we also have to look at what our patients are asking for. Like, what are the patients want when it comes to accessibility and convenience. And so online booking is one of my favorite new things on the market in dentistry. It's been around for a while, but so many practices still are not embracing it because they don't want to lose that control. They feel like they're going to lose control. And when I actually am able to work with an office and show them how it works and how they can stay in control, then they're like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. And so I do get a lot of pushback from team members that don't want to have software that's going to drop an appointment on their appointment book, or they feel like they still want to hand the patient a clipboard with a piece of paper to update their health history. That's the hardest part is getting team members to look at this new innovation, how patients are asking for these types of online tools. And then when I start throwing out some statistics, around patient attrition and that patients are going to leave your practice if you don't start having these types of online tools available, then they start to perk up their ears and listen a little bit more.
Well, I'm one of those patients. If I can't book something online, who wants to pick up the phone and make a phone call to schedule an appointment anymore? And, it's kind of like when epidurals came out for having babies. It's like, why go through all the pain if you're
So true. Yeah,
you
I
know?
know. I know. I mean, the ADA has done a study. I know that Health Grades has done a study. And we do know that more than 60% of patient appointments are booked after hours. And so, patients want to just get on their computer or on their phones and look up their dental practice online and be able to make their appointment when they're watching the evening news after the kids have gone to bed. And, so appointments are being made after hours. And when we only offer our patients either an appointment request or a phone number, we're losing out on that opportunity to have a really amazing patient experience.
Well, I think that is remarkable. I'm glad that you're pro tech. Well, obviously you're pro technology. You started out in software. So that's really awesome. I think I love that. And I love that you're an advocate for that because I feel like dentists and their teams need that in their
Hmm.
practice in order to move forward and to get with the times kind of. So
Hmm. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, so it sounds like education obviously is a big part of
It
software
is.
because you have to educate and you have to just show them step by step on how it's going to work and what's going to happen. Do you ever lose team members when it comes to software? Are they like, I can't do this, I'm not going to learn this?
I have twice
Have
in
you?
my 20 years of being a
That's low.
yeah, it
That's a low
tw-
record.
I'm yeah, I had a practice up in the state of Washington. They're just north of Seattle, and going paperless is my specialty, and that's my expertise. And so I was working with a practice north of Seattle, and they had a front office team member. She was 62, and when the office hired me to take them through the paperless journey, she retired early. and it wasn't on bad terms or anything, but she did say, I'm not going to do that. And she did leave. Another thing that I've had happen is I've had team members cry. So, you know, I have to work through those emotions for sure, but it's
You have to put on your empathetic hat and just be, I know
I'm
this is
like
for
I'm
stuff.
like, "Come on, put on your big girl panties, so let's do this."
I
I
love
got I got you. I got you, so
You know that I'm your backup plan, so what's the absolute worst thing that can happen here? So,
yeah, exactly,
you might
so
learn something new, yeah. Uh,
exactly. I love it. It's fun.
I love it too. Well, retention is kind of a big challenge for many dental
Mhm.
practices anymore, and,
Mhm.
beyond competitive salaries and benefits, do you have some ideas to just kinda help dental practices retain their team members?
Yeah, yeah, I do a lot of research about studies about hiring and HR and things like that, and what we do know is that when you do have a really comprehensive, well, not even, it doesn't really have to be a comprehensive, it just has to be a a team training and development program in your practice so that you are doing onboarding and team training on a regular basis. So probably at least once a year, you're doing some team training and development, and also onboarding a new team member. So dental practices that, or just businesses in general that have a comprehensive team training program in place, they have like up to a 200% increase in productivity.
Wow.
So that's astronomical if you just put in a team training program into your practice. And also, the same study that I was reading, if you have a team training program in place, those companies also report a 24% higher profit margin. So your team is more productive, your profit margin is better because you do have less turnover, because it's super expensive to hire and train new team members. The other thing that we see in businesses is when you have a professional team training program, an onboarding program, the retention rate is higher because this is what usually happens. Usually what happens is the outgoing office manager is training the new team member coming in, or it could be just could be a front office team member is training the new person coming in. So you
Yeah.
have this outgoing person that is maybe they're using 15 to 20% of the software, and now you're having them train your new hire,
Yeah.
and so then this dilution of knowledge is happening in the practice because you don't have a professional or an expert coming in, or they don't even have to come into your practice. I mean, you can do most everything remote. And and so just onboarding someone in a very professional and comprehensive way will help you to retain team members. It'll increase your productivity by up to 200%. You will see a higher profit margin, up to 24% higher profit margin. And so there's so many more benefits to team training and onboarding than not doing it. I mean, and so if you want to see a revolving door all the time, then just don't train your team ever. And then, you'll just keep rehiring people over and over again.
Oh, I absolutely believe that. I don't know
Hmm.
if you've heard me talk about my daughter. She's been working for a pediatric dentist for several years, and
Okay.
she got married, moved probably 45 minutes away. So she's like, I just need to not have this commute now. And so she went to another office who I think they literally just set her up to fail because they didn't have team
Hmm.
training and development. They just had her, like, she just kept getting told what to do, thinking you came from another dental practice, she would know how to
Hmm.
do it. And she's
Yeah.
just like, after a couple times, she's like, and they were like, no, that's not how we do it here, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
pretty soon she was just like in tears, like, Mom, I don't know
Hmm.
what to do because and I just says, "Well, then you say when they ask you to do something, I would be happy to do that if you will show me exactly what you want me to do," kinda thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
she didn't stay there. She didn't stay. She's actually back at the original practice and driving
Oh,
her
wow.
kids because she was just like, I just feel like I was set up to fail. They never really showed
Yeah.
me." So that right there tells me you do need those team training and development
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
programs.
Absolutely. I mean, the same study that I've been quoting from, their research shows that 40% of employees that don't receive job training, onboarding, job training will leave within the first year. 40% of those employees will leave within the first year if they don't have training. Yeah. So if you just throw somebody out into the sharks, and
Right.
hope that they can swim, they will leave. Within 40% will leave within the first year.
Yeah. I think
And
she
so
only
that's,
lasted a couple of months, and she was just like, "I'm going back."
yeah,
She just
yeah,
wasn't happy and
yeah, yeah. And so that's what we love to do. I mean, I think, and I love working with offices that, maybe you don't have any turnover, but maybe you haven't had any training for several years. I love those aha moments, and you're, oh my gosh, I had no idea the software could do that. You just saved hours in my week. That is just so rewarding for me when I can go into a practice and help them be more efficient, more productive, help the practice be more profitable. I mean, that's the win-win for sure.
I love it. Well, and so all that comes into play with retaining team members as well as hiring new team members. So
Yes.
team training and development kinda goes hand in hand on both of those things.
Mhm.
Well, do you have any ideas around okay, so obviously dental teams are crazy busy and burnout is kind of becoming a serious issue. So, do you have any ideas around proactive steps they can take to reduce stress, to improve workload management, to create more supportive environment just within their organization?
Absolutely. I do feel that the practices that um, create job roles, like job descriptions, where what your primary role is in the practice every single day,
Yeah.
I really feel that reduces a lot of the stress. Now, I'm all for cross training. I do believe that everybody should be cross trained, but I also believe that your admin team, they really need to know, what is my primary role? So every time I walk in the practice every day, I know that my primary role is to keep a rockin' full productive hygiene schedule. Or every time I walk in the door every day, I know I am responsible for making sure that we're collecting money every single day, and that our accounts receivable should be this, and our collection percentage should be this. And that is what I strive for every single day. And so I do feel that when you know what that primary role is, you have a better understanding of how to organize your time. You know exactly, you master the reports that you should be working on every single week. You get a really solid routine down. And I really feel like then you are accountable to certain practice numbers. And you get really excited when your numbers are good and you've exceeded your goals. And I feel strongly about identifying what the primary role is in your practice. And and that way, everybody has a lot more clarity of, what do I do every day? Because if you do everything, then you really get to the end of the day and you really did nothing, you know, because
You look
you're
back
just,
and you're like, what did I do today?
what did I do today? And I mean, if there's an opening in the schedule, it's all hands on deck. Everybody tries to fill the schedule, but for the most part, those types of emergencies don't really come up every single day. And that's my biggest, advocate for practices is, let's get these admin team members really a solid, clear job description, job role. And I think that's one of the first things I always do when I work with teams.
I love that. I think that's so great. So we've talked about software, we've talked about implementing software, we've talked about just basically what you can do to, hire well by putting systems in place, your team training and development in place. And then we've talked about role descriptions. I think you gave
It's a
some
lot.
really great pointers today. Is there anything else that you would like to cover before we wrap it up today?
Yeah, I just think that we want to stay open-minded to new technology. When we get stuck in our old ways and we're not willing to be open-minded about the evolution of technology, and also just the evolution of patient behavior, human behavior, I want you to think about yourself as a consumer. We are in healthcare, but we're also in the consumer business, and we have to compete with a lot of consumer types of businesses. And when you can book a flight online, you can check your banking online, you can get on your phone and book dinner reservations. And if we can't do that with our dentistry and be able to schedule an appointment or pay our bill or fill out a form using our mobile devices, then we're leaving people behind because of we're getting in our own way. And so I really want people to be open-minded about technology and human behavior.
I think that's wonderful. The industry is moving forward, whether practices choose to move forward or not. And I just look at it as job security. The more you learn, the more
Yeah.
you have under your tool belt that you can. I just think there's power in knowledge, and I just think how strong these teams can be if they just move forward in their education. And I would love for you to be the one to educate them. Wouldn't that be amazing?
I would love that. Yes. And I said love again. So yeah,
Me
I mean,
too.
that is, I know that is it's my life's calling, really. I mean, I remember when I first became a dentrix trainer, I was still working in a dental practice. And I did not become a dentrix trainer to be a trainer. I just wanted to be an expert in my own practice. And when Henry Schein sent me out into practices to go out and train, I fell in love with training. It was so amazing to help these doctors that were struggling with accounts receivable or going paperless or struggling with keeping their schedule full, and I could actually help them. It was my calling. It was my life's calling for sure.
Oh, I love it. So, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, Dayna, how's the best way to get a hold of you?
The best way is to book a call. I think you have the call link.
Oh,
Yeah, and so I get to learn more about your practice, where your obstacles are. What do you want your dream practice to look like? And then let's see if we can work together. And that's the best way to do is to book a call. And then you can, if you just want to check me out, go to Novonee.com and you can go to my website and check me out. There's a video on there about a little bit about my personality.
oh, that's so fun. And you're going to love her personality. And if you will go to Novonee.com, which you can kind of see her Novonee behind her, Novonee.com is her website if you just want to check her out. If not, I will put the link in the show notes so that you can just get right on her calendar and schedule some time with her and just do a little discovery call. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's such a treat having you. Just so you know, this podcast is sponsored by eAssist Dental Solutions. If you want to focus on more patient care, which Dayna has talked about that today, and less paperwork, and Dayna has talked about that today, head over to dentalbilling.com and you can discover how eAssist Dental Solutions can make a difference for you. So thank you, everyone. And until next time, keep striving for success and making an impact in your practice. All right. See you.
Thank you.
The purpose of this podcast is to interview the consultants within our eAssist Consultant Network. This podcast is for informational purposes only. For more details, please visit the homepage of this podcast platform at dentalbilling.com. Thanks for listening.